In this video, I'll cover 5 core tenets of frugal living for early retirement. Even if you are not striving for early retirement, you're going to see a lot of tips here that you can apply to your life to save a bunch of money. This is Charles from Smart Wealth Lifestyle, where I give a lot of tips for reaching financial independence and retiring early. And if you are new to this channel, make sure that you like and subscribe to get a lot more tips to reach your financial goals. So let's go ahead and kick this off. I'll go over the topics that I'll be covering. And this is my latest blog post here. I'll dive into these 5 core tenets. And just by doing this, this will make an extreme difference in your financial life and help you save more. So let's talk about what minimalistic lifestyle is. I'll go over my example. Some of these stories here are from my personal life, and also talk about budgeting, cutting expenses, saving more money, talk about food and thrift shops and secondhand stuff. So let's go ahead and talk about this minimalistic lifestyle. And here we go. Let's talk about decluttering. In my life, I've embraced this idea that I learned many years ago, and I think it came from feng shui. And the whole idea here is that the objects, things around you, even the position of your home, they have a tremendous impact on your mental health and your well-being, your future. Some people take it to another level, and it becomes like this idea of how it impacts the wealth flowing into your life. There's parts of that that I believe in, but more importantly, I do believe that the arrangement of objects in your home can really impact how you feel. And I believe when you are in a better mental state, you can also make better financial decisions. So I learned some of these additional concepts from Marie Kondo. She has a very popular book and also a Netflix TV show. And the whole idea that I had here in my life was to think about things that brought me joy. This sounds kind of weird. And when I first read the book, I just thought, like, how am I going to apply this? It just sounds very strange to me. And I'm sure it does, especially for Western audiences. And there's something called Shintoism in Japan. And I know that Marie Kondo really follows like a lot of these concepts. But what I brought into my life just from listening to her, watching her on Netflix, and reading the book, I realized that I could declutter and make my life better by reducing some mental stress. So I have a storage. I moved around quite a bit, and over 8 years, I ended up packing a bunch of stuff in a storage. And I went to it finally and said, I'm going to get rid of a lot of stuff. My storage bill went from like $60 a month to over 150 just because of inflation and some fake inflation, whatever you want to call it. And so went to the storage and looked at every item and thought about this concept from Marie Kondo. Does this really bring me joy? Do I really need it? And I realized that after over half a decade just it being stored, there are over 90% of the items I didn't need. Ended up tossing it into the back of a moving truck, went to the local garbage area, hauled it over there, and just started physically just throwing stuff outside the back of this truck into this dump. And this was like one of the largest dump facilities here in Silicon Valley and South Bay anyways, and moved on. And I believe that that helped reduce this mental stress. Every weekend I was thinking, gosh, when am I going to go out there? When am I going to throw stuff away? And I kept on making excuses. Gosh, it's so hot or cold or dark out there. Ended up doing, and I feel better, especially saving that money every month. And so things in your life, think about how you can actually get rid of stuff even around your home. And I believe that will provide you with more clarity and figure out what to do with that extra time. And one of the things that you could do is improve your budgeting. And I truly believe in tracking, monitoring your expenses, because that gives you data. It gives you an idea, awareness of what you're doing wrong. And what I see here from my personal experience is just tracking housing, transportation, groceries, and entertainment expenses those are the core. And if you categorize those, you could even create subcategories like transportation. There is changing out oil, there's gas, there's maintenance. You could even look at a car and think, gosh, I'm just spending this, it's normal every month. But then you realize that it might be more advantageous to buy another car instead of keeping a new one that you're spending so much money on maintenance on. Recently, I bought a car. It's like over 10 years old. I actually went to a website, I believe it's called Copilot, saw a bunch of cars that were more stable than newer cars, especially in recent years with a lot of AI and computer issues. There are cars that had less recalls, less maintenance, just because they didn't use all this new technology or innovative technology that was in experimental mode. There are transmissions out there that have more problems than older ones, and that was a way for me to save money. Let's talk about cutting expenses. There are also other things like subscriptions, there's utility bills. When it comes to utilities, think about your lights. What can you change into LEDs? Those are actually very energy efficient. There's also appliances in your home that you could change out. If you are a homeowner, think about your washing, drying machine, your dishwasher, your refrigerator. All these have newer energy efficient models. If you are not a homeowner, there are appliances that you can use, especially that you're using regularly, that are still energy efficient. Think about your subscriptions. What are things that you do not need to spend your money on? One of my friends was spending well over $200 on cable expenses. Then I asked him, why do you need all those channels? He said, oh, my wife and kids watch those channels. And I said, really? Do they really watch those hundreds of channels? Then he ended up talking to his family about it, realized that they didn't watch all those channels, and then he just needed a smaller bucket, and he was able to reduce his bill by close to 70%. So think about these things, and you'll be able to make better financial decisions. You can grow your own food, and of course, organic is more healthy and has less chemicals. You want to focus on less produce foods, less boxed foods if possible, and doing this can help you save a lot of money. Back in the day, I used to think, gosh, going to these organic stores, they're very expensive. Nowadays, I would say that they're not as expensive as before, what I thought anyways. And then I realized that I'm also getting better quality food that helps me with my health. Believe it or not, there are foods out there, whether they're processed, modified, that can be very harmful for you. It might be the reason why some people have physical illnesses. I can't prove that, but if you actually eat more healthy foods, obviously you'll have better health. So think about that. If you are not in that situation with food, think about ways that you can minimize your expenses. I met a family that was going out to eat with their daughter every single meal here in Silicon Valley. And this was about 10 years ago, and they're spending over $50 per meal, and they never cooked at home. That's extremely expensive. If you don't know how to cook, and if you've been doing this for especially many years, think about ways to learn how to cook. This might seem kind of irritating, frustrating, but I totally believe if you just focus on the basics, go to YouTube, look at 10-minute recipes, 15-minute recipes, that can reduce your mental stress when it comes to cooking, and you'll improve your cooking skills, save a bunch of money. Next thing is thrift. Talked about secondhand stuff with my car, saving money. You can also find other items. I go to Facebook Marketplace quite a bit. There's also eBay. I ended up getting some exercise equipment. While I don't have having a whole bunch of equipment in my home, I bought something called a vertical climber. It's a full body workout. It usually goes for like $300 on a lot of the retail shops, but I ended up getting it on Facebook Marketplace, got it from someone locally, and got it down to like close to $20. Many of them were selling for like $40, $50, but still, you can save a lot of money going to Facebook Marketplace. Ended up going home and wiped it down with a bunch of like hand sanitizing wipes to clean it down, kill the germs and all that stuff. And now I use it throughout the week. So I went through the 5 core tenets of frugal living for early retirement. Hope you learned a lot here. Make sure that you check out the description in my channel and you'll get some more information, especially on my top financial tool that I personally use. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.